Greetings everyone, welcome back to Pony Panels. Now, one of the most controversial episodes of the My Little Pony TV series happens early in the series. It's called Over a Barrel. In that episode, we are introduced to the small western town of Appaloosa. And yes, there is a reason I'm saying it that way. But in that episode, we are introduced to an Indian tribe. And one particular little buffalo, known as Little Strongheart. She quickly becomes friends with Rainbow Dash, and becomes the center crux of that argument in that episode. The reason I bring that up here is because of the subject of the latest Friends Forever comic, number 31. Because Little Strongheart is back, and has asked specifically for Rainbow Dash for assistance. Why? Because our happy little buffalo tribe is running out of food. But in order to bring back the sun to grow their latest harvest of crops, they must find a piece of Indian folklore, a magical crow known as the Rainbow Crow, which is the strongest part of the comic. The Rainbow Crow story is done in semi-traditionalist Indian art with striking paint stroke type drawing and animation that gives the pages in which Strongbow is telling our story here a truly artsy, dreamlike yet traditionalist feel. It's two of the strongest pages of the book, and tells the story of the Rainbow Crow eloquently, simply, and without taking too much time in the comic. However, the rest of the comic is filled with Rainbow Dash and Little Strongheart arguing over which direction to take. A more traditionalist yet slow Indian pathway that Little Strongheart knows the way to the Rainbow Crow's next of kin, or Rainbow Dash's let's get it over with quick with the fewest bumps in the way. Naturally, as Rainbow Dash tends to do as a character, it causes antagonization. Too much antagonization in my point of view. Especially coming off of 28 planks later where Rainbow Dash's ego gotten away once again. Rainbow Dash's ego and sense of I'm right, you're wrong gets in the way. It often seems, especially in Friends Forever comics, that Rainbow Dash is just used solely as an antagonizer, and it's starting to get a little bit annoying. Sure, Rainbow Dash's points of view are somewhat right, but not logical, seeing that we're following a traditional Indian route. And plus, Little Strongheart doesn't know much about how ponies get things done, but still has great respect for the systems too. The fact that Rainbow Dash is pointing out in specific detail Cutie Marks of her friend shows this lack of understanding and almost borderline ignorance on Rainbow's part. Yes, it's to show that the Indian tribe of Appaloosa is a little bit closed off, but you can certainly show this lack of information differently without Rainbow aggressively pointing it out. It's an extreme failure in the early part of the comic that just can't be ignored here. Plus, what they're generally arguing about throughout the concept of the comic makes little to no sense in terms of drive for a plot line. The understanding, standing, and sometimes taking the slower, more traditional route as far as exceptions to speed is a great moral. Slow, precise size can sometimes lead to fewer conflicts, which is an okay moral. But for this book, despite its beautiful illustration, the writing and the portrayal of how we get to that moral is so poorly executed. If not for the Rainbow Crow story and the proper utilization of what you can say is Indian belief, well executed, this comic would have nothing to sell, if only for the return of a slightly menial character in Little Strongheart, which thankfully she does well in her role. But much like anything that Rainbow Dash tends to ruin, it's just too much of her getting in the way and not really getting the lesson out. So the entire comic seemingly falls flat because of it. Friends Forever 31, by and large, is a skip. It's one of the first skips that I would suggest for the Friends Forever series. It's only a 2 out of 6 overall. If you are interested in beautiful art and illustration to drive you through a read, this comic will suffice. But the story's argument and poorly written storyline that borderlines a little bit, just a tiny bit, on Indian insensitivity proves to be this comic's downfall. Until the next Pony Panels, I'm Nirvana Sparkle. Find peace in your own Nirvana, and thanks for watching.